What you're looking at is a Lord of the Rings Rise to War battlefront, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity to showcase what you should and should not do when you are fighting other players in this game. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and today we're talking about how you wage war in Lord of the Rings Rise to War. This is the war portion of the game, and despite the fact that you can just sit somewhere in a corner and, I don't know, power up to farm for no value whatsoever, like, this is a player versus player game, everybody. Like, you can build up your own economy, but at the end of the day, you gotta battle other people. That's the whole point. I mean, again, you can be an irrelevant non-contributor in your faction, or you can show up for the team, be the player who shows up for the team. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about how to actually move your troops on the field. Now, there's a couple things that we need to talk about. Let's start with the fact that you can only hit a tile connected to some other tile you own. What does that mean? If I want to hit this tile, which somebody is doing, we need to have one of the neighboring tiles connected. Now, you already figured this out from building your own base, right? But one way that you can sabotage an enemy is if, for example, the enemy team attacked this march right now and took this tile. This player has a 2-minute and 26-second walk. If they could win over here before this player arrives, then that player is going to be sent home. Their stamina was wasted. They will not attack the tile. So the first thing you need to understand is how to manipulate the tile proximity and the fact that you have to be connected to some other tile in order to progress. What this means is that you don't want to be deleting your tiles that are on the front line. I have all these really low power tiles. Why am I keeping them? Because keeping a low power tile gives us flexibility. Let me give you yet another example where I'm keeping a low power tile, and you can see why this adds a lot of value. Let's just pick, there's a lot of them, quite frankly, but let's just pick this tile over here, okay? It is in front of some forts, and it is a defensive tile. Why is that? If the enemy comes back into this position again, and they start taking these tiles, it gives us multiple angles of attack. It gives us multiple ways to hit a tile if they try to aggress against us. And importantly, what it means is if the enemy wants to move into this position and make themselves protected, and this is very important, I'm going to talk about it in a second. If they want to make themselves protected where their marches can't be hit, which there's value to that, then they would need to take multiple tiles of art and spend even more of their stamina. I'm keeping these front row tiles to give us options and make enemies waste stamina, but there's more. What I like to do is to have a sort of formation, if you will, when I move my troops through the map. And by that, I mean, I don't just like send one troop and then hope for the best. I've got 5 or 6 commanders with full armies in any given area where I'm actively waging war. And if I wanted to attack, let's just pick something, right? If I wanted to attack this fort over here, I would not send all 5 of my marches to this one spot. That would be a disaster. Do you know what I would do if I was the enemy? I would take this blue tile, right? I would just attack this one, and suddenly this would be disconnected, and I would have wasted 100 stamina sending my 5 commanders there. In fact, this player who's moving from such a long distance to take this tile is taking a big risk. A more attentive enemy would have just cut off this move, and this player would not even be able to attack the tile if the enemy had come here. And if you're being, a bully, you go to this tile with your really strong army and you just make them just freaking get wrecked, That's another option that you could do there. So how would I move forward if I was trying to go up to here? I would put one army here, okay, after I have successfully taken the tile. And I like this tile, by the way, because it's protected by 2 other tiles. So I'm moving forward. I'm taking something new. I'm not just going somewhere where they can cut me off. Okay, I'm taking something new and I'm bringing progression. I have 1 commander here. Then I would bring another commander and leapfrog a long journey from my fort to go here. Then I would bring a 3rd commander from my base to leapfrog and go here. And then I would send a 4th commander to go back and claim this territory. Now that I have 2 touch points, actually I would have 3 at that point, protecting that tile that I would go and take, right? And I would slowly move my 4 marches or 5 marches or 6 marches into position. From there, assuming I had all these tiles now under my control with marches standing on them, my marches, I have what's called I don't know what to term this, like a protect the king scenario, protect the knight, protect the queen, if you like chess, right? Pick your metaphor, but I'm protecting my heaviest hitter, which is going to be in this tile. And what am I going to do? I am going to hit them with my heaviest hitting army on their fort after I've got all this territory. And why is that? Because in order for the enemy to come here, I have all these other tiles protecting it, and I have 4 marches nearby, and when my march gets weak from attacking, which it will, it'll come back to here after I attack the fort and don't destroy it. It'll come home. Well, it'll come to the last tile it was on. And then I can send reinforcements from my home base and just do it again. Punch with the hardest march I have, and then do it again. Punch with the hardest march I have, right? And that's kind of what I'm trying to accomplish here. You get your heavy-hitting marches in place. You have some nearby to flank and protect so that you can just reinforce without having to waste stamina going somewhere else and coming back. So you create this, like, protect the king or, again, protect the queen. If you like chess, whatever, pick the metaphor. That's the strategy I like to deploy here when I'm moving into position. Now, right now, I'm actually about to live stream on my other channel, so I can't go commit to a big attack. But a big attack, like what I was just talking about, could take you on the order of, like, 30 minutes to pull off. And yeah, it, like, takes longer. Probably, I mean, could even be an hour to get this one stinking attack off. And you can see this player is moving forward with their one army. And if I had time to play right now, I would go and support them big time. I would leapfrog up the field, and then I would go help them take this thing. Right now, what I'm doing, since I can't commit to another, like, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes of playing, is that I've got a bunch of marches stacked over here in one fort. Now, we've got a big stack over here. What do I mean by a big stack? We have a ton of players all in one place, and that is just very difficult to deal with. Think about that for a second. If you want to attack into this stack, which has, I think, a total of 10 players, 8 others, and my 2, and I'm going to bring more marches up there, the problem is that when you attack a stack, you fight one army. If you even beat it, you fight the next army, and after you've had a grand total across all armies that you fight, a grand total of 10 rounds, you go into a draw. Well, guess what? After you beat the first march, if you even win, the second march you're fighting is probably full strength, and you are not, and you get hurt pretty badly, assuming you have an evenly matched opponent, right? If you completely outflank your opponent, like I often do at this moment, even though I haven't spent, because I played so much that I had the resources to progress my account a lot and have a lot of ring power, right? Like, I can bully a little bit because my commanders are higher level. I got a 50, 47, 45, 44, 42. I actually feel like one of my mistakes is not taking more commanders all the way up to 50, to be perfectly honest, and instead doing a lot of fighting with them, which is not giving me much experience at all. But the sort of advantage of stacking them all up here is that, like, you're really going to wreck people. And, uh-oh, 3 reports. Ooh, what happened here? Oh, they're attacking a land. Good for them. This, by the way, is why I took high-powered lands. Because for me, I barely lose any troops at all. See, I told you, there's an active war zone, lots on. I barely lose any troops at all when I hit with my level 50. I don't get any experience on them, but I'm not trying to get experience anymore from taking tiles. I'm trying to get experience from basically just doing mock battles. That's it. I don't want to lose any troops. All my troops that I lose are for fighting other players right now. So they're harassing this tile. What could I do about it? Should I do anything about it? I have a small amount of time to react. How long ago? A minute ago. I mean, honestly, will I win here? Probably not. And can I get here in time and do something about it? I don't think I could. Like, the fastest I could move here is 21 minutes, or Boromir's 14 minutes, or people are out of range. So the part of the reason I took these high-level tiles in enemy territory is that they are harder to capture. I will walk over a 150 and be like, whatever, with my level 50 commander. Like, I don't care, right? But these 200 tiles or higher make an enemy think, and they're going to lose some troops. And just as an example, right? Like, how many troops did this player lose? In the first army, they lost 1,168. In the second part of the battle, they lost 90, not that many. In the next part of the battle, they lost another. So I've made them lose over 2,300 troops. And to take one of these tiles, I'm going to lose like less than 1,000 for sure. So I'm 2 for wanting the enemy, but there's more. This tile is strategic because it is a 2x2. So it gives you access to a lot of things if you actually have it. Now, they're going to take mine, presumably, but it costs them more than it costs me. And for the time that I had it, it was sort of like an anchor point. Like, people will walk up and just take these weak tiles like they're nothing, right? Because they are nothing. But these tiles make enemies think. So this is just a few tips coming in hot from an active war zone, where, as you can see, literally it's on fire, right? When I say coming in hot, I mean really hot. And I don't know what this does. Does anybody know what in conflict does? When attacked by another faction that has declared war, this territory will be in conflict and lose all faction protection. 70% siege damage reduction. It's in conflict, so but we're already in war. Maybe being in conflict can extend beyond the time horizon of which I'm in war. That would be kind of cool. Oh, by the way, one other tip that I'm just remembering about having a big stack that's really advantageous is you can have players in that stack guard nearby tiles. This is really important. So when you use the guard function, okay, and I'll just do it now just for giggles, right? It takes all of the nearby tiles that are in your fellowship, and you are now guarding them. If any one of those tiles gets attacked by an enemy, your march that's over, well, the one that did the guarding, is going to defend them. Now, your march stays where it is. It doesn't move to the other tiles. It stays where it is. It will defend them. This also leaves you vulnerable. And it leaves you vulnerable because if you wanted to break up this 10 stack and 3 of the players are guarding, then you can just hit the nearby tiles instead of hitting the 10 stack. And that's a lot easier to deal with because now you're only dealing with like 3 players. So you can tap an enemy stack of marches, okay? And you can see which ones are guarding. None of these have a guard symbol. So none of those are guarding. If I look over here, you can see this enemy territory is guarded. Okay, and it's this tile, and this tile that are guarded. So we know the guarding march is over here, and there's the guarding symbol, right? So if I wanted to take out one of those marches without having to deal with the entire stack, you just hit one of the guard tiles that has nobody else in it. So that's another trick that you can use to sort of avoid somebody's guard or manipulate the fact that they're guarding in a way that like really hinders them. And if I turn off my guard right away, you're going to see I have a cooldown. I think it's a grand total of 15 minutes of cooldown from the time that you turned on guard. I could be wrong on that. Let me know down below, right, how exactly that works. And again, like, this is the thing that's so crazy about this game is it's 24/7 battling. So if I wasn't running to go do something else right now, I would 100% go jam. And believe me, I've been doing my fair share of fighting over here, all right? It's like nonstop action. I'm up to 382,000 prestige. And look, for a player that spent $3 in the game, I feel like that's pretty decent, okay? It's decent. I'm doing okay. And by the way, I picked this faction for the conscription bonus. Guess who feels really good about the conscription bonus when I'm losing all these troops? This guy. By the way, I mean, there's just so much going on, and I'm trying to get set up for my other stream, but I keep checking back to this. But I took a risky move here that I shouldn't have done, but I saw one march in this fort. They easily could have hit this tile. They're asleep at the wheel. They didn't. Now all 3 of my marches are going to connect with this fort. Absolutely gross, but I'm not done yet. Because I sent 2 backup marches after my super strong march got in there. Gimli did damage, right? He wrecked the defending march. Not even close. They were probably trying to refill that march. GG easy. Then I'm going to destroy this fort. But I'm not just going to destroy this fort. Look at the other forts behind it. Boom, boom, boom. I am not just going to destroy one fort. I'm going to take out 3 more, which is huge. Yeah, it takes, stamina to go do that. But GG easy. GG easy, right? Move up. Get him over there. Easy. When my next march gets here, I'm going to GG easy the other spot. I'm going to send Aragorn again. I'm just eating these up, man. GG easy. And this is why you want to have some number of tiles available so that you, in a hurry, can make a major push. And this is rare where I get to very effectively spend this much stamina. It's really quite fantastic. And if I had been playing smarter, I would have put Gimli in one of these more, like I would have attacked this tile. As I was describing earlier, if Gimli had gone here, then there, It would have cost me more stamina, but I would have got a tile and Gimli wouldn't be running all the way home. I actually thought I was going to have a real fight in this tile that I'm fighting, and I wanted to go all the way home anyways. And it turns out the march was like a complete nothing burger, so it was, super easy. But, in any other world, it would have been really good to have Gimli run home. But fine, okay, so now Aragorn, really healthy. Now I'm going to hit this player, right? And I just took out 4 forts, and I honestly could take out the 5th. And I know this player, and they're really awesome. We play Infinite Galaxy together, which is covered on my channel. Yeah, I feel we're not on the same faction, which doesn't make any sense. The game plan is to presumably do a restart with a big group, and we'll all be on the same team at that point, right? But, okay, here we go. Aragorn goes over here. Honestly, I think I'd take out this fort too, especially since I know I'm not going to be able to look at the game for a while. As long as I have enough stamina left to run myself back to protection, I think this is a perfectly fine move. Okay, so I'm going to take this tile. Now I am using my protected march. Okay, let's just see what just happened, by the way. Easy fight. GG easy. Easy fight. Okay. Okay, so I can run Boromir up here to hit it. Boromir has a lot of stamina. If I had time, the way that I would do this is have Boromir hit a couple times. If I was being really aggressive, I would have done exactly what I was describing earlier with all of my marches cutting across, and I would have fought my way to this fort too. In a lot of ways, some of what I'm doing is a waste because I'm making this big push when, I'm not going to follow it up with any action, right? Like, I'm just bullying to prevent them from getting forts. That felt important to me. That does feel important, like a thing to get done, but anyways. So, Aragorn's got enough stamina that I can pop, I guess, a hit on this, right? I'm going to do that now because I'm in a hurry. And then I'll have Boromir hit, and then I just run everybody back over here, and then I refill the marches. GG easy. Boom. Whew. If you found this video helpful or educational at all about how to wage war in Lord of the Rings Rise to War, consider subscribing. You can see the enemy is using their position of relative strength on top of Tar, which they own, to now launch an attack, or I guess reinforce a base that we're attacking. And that attack could go pretty sideways, given that they're now going to have a pretty fat stack of players on top of that. But as I mentioned, I've got to go run to another obligation. I think the thing that's a little weird about war in this game is that, honestly, it's so nonstop. It's kind of absurd. The amount of time you can spend waging war in this game, it is 24/7 gameplay if you want it. Maybe not 24/7, but it's pretty crazy. And we're only going to get more commanders over time. So, where's my life balance that I once had? Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, throw a like on here, consider subscribing. As I said earlier, I've got to crank out a live stream, and maybe I'll get another video later today or tomorrow. I've been just jamming out a ton of these videos about Lord of the Rings Rise to War. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Good luck, everybody. Take care. If you got any other tips for combat, leave a message down below.